Hey everybody, Steve-O here for Movies and TVs on the Ball, and I did a video a couple years ago, podcast on Once Upon a Time, the Disney ABC television series that dealt with Disney characters in Disney characters in sort of a fantasy Snow White and Seven Dwarfs kind of thing. And I'm kind of cruising. So on this episode, I was cruising through uh, Amazon Prime Video, and I stumbled upon Grimm, which showed up in on NBC from like 2000. I want to say like 2006 to 2010, I think, is the series. And I've always kind of heard of the show, and I've always heard of the show, and I've always been I was kind of intrigued into just kind of checking it out, and so tonight I did. And this episode really deals with, um, it deals with a cop, two cops. One is named Nick Burnett, and the other one is Hank Griffin. And they're two cops that kind of, in this one, there's a the beginning of the episode, there's a woman who is going running, and as she's running, she gets attacked by somebody who might be an animal of some sort. But what's interesting is that who she was getting, who was attacked, she was wearing red, and there and that's kind of the mystery around this first episode, where um, it really has a lot to do with um, kind of the Little Red Riding Hood story, and I'm guessing each episode is sort of crime of the week, but um, deals something with a fairy tale, or a Grimm's fairy tale per se. I really and so they're kind of so there's a woman that gets attacked in the outrunning, and they have to kind of find the culprit, and it all swirls around um, with Nick Bernhardt being a part of a team of Grimms, of the long line of Grimms who like have kind of hunted fairy tale, been part of the fairy tale creatures kind of thing, or creatures storyline. This is a pretty good show. I think the pilot episode um, really kind of sets the world up okay wise. I think probably watching it probably 2 or 3 episodes will kind of get me more, maybe get me in to it a little bit more. But I really kind of think it's a really interesting show. I like the fairy tale element of it, and I think that it works pretty well for a show, kind of as a uh, storybook Law and Order kind of thing. But it's a really good. It has its peaks. There's sort of like a at the end of the episode, there's sort of a there's this woman that he has kind of flirted with a little bit, and she is part of the EXO thing. So, Grimm's pilot episode, I think it's a pretty strong episode. I'd give it probably uh, 8 out of 10, or on my 1 to 100 scale, probably a 79. I think it's an okay show. I'll probably kind of watch maybe 3 or 4 more episodes to kind of really get into it. But the pilot episode is pretty strong. So, as always, I'm Steve, and see you at the movies. Bye.